I somehow believe that people should keep on making more and more data-driven decisions. Where I tried to build an Alexa kind of system. We took the data set of an enterprise which had around 300 paragraphs and around 180,000 words. And on those paragraphs and on those words, we trained our system. Then we built a question first. Since we wanted to build bots, we built our own questions. We built somewhere around, I think we built somewhere around 1,500 questions and 5 variations of each of these questions. But the interesting thing is, since the Alexa kind of system, they got somebody who is very lower in the rank working in that enterprise to speak to the system. And the system give answers. So the interesting thing is that the elation that these people they get when they ask the question and get the answer is very rewarding. They find it a magic kind of a thing.
Hello everyone, Ashok here. Thank you for tuning in to this 25th episode of Indian Startup Stories, a podcast thriving to bring out experiences and insights from entrepreneurs across India. Today, our guest is Gaurav Shrivastava, founder and CEO of Pensieve, an ML and AI product company addressing the needs of document analytics for enterprises of different domains including legal, compliance, finance, and many. In this episode, Gaurav shares his background, how the company was formed with a product addressing specific needs and the expansion further on, initial bootstrapping and the planned capital rise, details of NLP, machine learning and AI behind the data analytics, information on leveraging accelerators and incubator platforms to grow steady, his vision for Indian opportunity in data and AI space, and much more valuable information for you to take away. So without further ado, let's jump in. Hi Gaurav, thank you for coming on Indian Startup Stories today. Welcome.
Hi Ashok.
Yeah, can you please share about your academics and career background?
Fair enough. So basic Indian male path I had. I did my engineering, electronics and communication in 2008. Worked for IT company for 3-4 years. Went for my MBA, and after coming out of my MBA, I started my career in entrepreneurship. There was a company by the name Zimmer, which was in home service domain. I ran it for around 2.5 years. Had a good run, raised decent amount of money, got acquired quite quicker, and then I'm running Pensieve for last 4 years.
Okay, that's nice. So this is the second company of your own that you're running. Nice. So that's wonderful. So please talk about your company Pensieve. What do you do and what are the products you create there?
Fair enough. So Pensieve is a text analytics and linguistic company. We are trying to build more and more depth into conversational AIs, and this has been implemented into the domain of legal regulation and compliance. So the idea in pretty simple terms is, if an enterprise has a huge amount of legal data, compliance data, or regulation data, we say that we'll build ML engines on top of it to access the information more efficiently.
Okay, into the legal complaints. Quite interesting to know. How did it all begin, Gaurav? Where did the spark moment came? What was the time of ideation?
Fair enough. So I tell you, I always wanted to make a data company. Like, data is something which excites me very much. I somehow believe that people should keep on making more and more data-driven decisions. The interesting part was when I was in Zimmer, and before Zimmer getting acquired, we had done the initial work of building the product, building the basic structure and everything. And anything more on top of it could only be done through data-driven decision-making process. So at Zimmer, only in 2 years of lifetime, I have realized that if you have to build scalable products, if you have to build deeper products, you need to integrate the data element into it. And that was something which was the initial inspiration or motivation to build a company which is completely data driven. And that's where the idea of Pensieve came into picture. And I tell you, Pensieve, if you know that Pensieve, and then we started thinking, okay, we believe in data driven company and all those things. And these sound very cliche statement, like everybody would say this. But what we have to do? Where does the AI thing come into picture? Where is the differentiating factor? And AI so the fact was that me and my co-founder Prahlad, when we were trying to discuss it way back in 2017, so our idea of AI is using collective intelligence for individual gain. So that's what our idea of AI is. Like, there is a huge amount of collective intelligence that is there on internet because of the data path that people have traced and have left their imprints. Can we use it all to help an individual who may be accessing information today? So that was our idea of AI and that's why we named the company Pensieve, because Pensieve was in Harry Potter movie where people can store which can be recreated. So Pensieve, the name Pensieve signifies how do we understand artificial intelligence. So recreating human memories is artificial intelligence for us. So that's where the company started. And when the company started, we didn't have an idea to do it in legal or compliance or regulation. We said that, okay, theek hai, what we both agree upon is this is what our basic understanding of artificial intelligence is. Now let's try to dig deeper into domains where there is huge amount of data and there is a use case associated with inferring around data, and we'll keep on moving from one domain to another domain. And that was what more of an entrepreneurial goal, or that was more of a passionate goal for us. We did understand
Mhm.
that there is a business decision also will come into picture from moving from one domain to another domain, or from doing what you can say, solving one kind of a problem to another kind of a problem. But our life dream is that this is what we keep on doing. Like we keep on building AI engines for different kind of an business use case, whether it's an enterprise and consumer. And our understanding of AI is that how to use collective intelligence for individual things.
Okay, nice. When you say collective decisions for individual game, so is it any specifics like the semantic analysis or the customer segmentation, or what specific problems it is addressing?
Fair enough. So Pensieve at the end of the day is handling problem in text analytics and linguistic. So the capabilities
Mm.
are around name entities extraction, name entity extraction, um, classification, semantic search, summarizer, chatbot. So all those capabilities Pensieve have. But we have these
Mhm.
capabilities because the business problem that we took upon had text data. So these are the kinds of machine
Okay.
learning techniques that you can apply on text data. At the end of the day, whether AI is there or not, at the end of the day, you are also trying to do some kind of same kind of a thing. Like you are talking to multiple kind of entrepreneurs, which is collective intelligence, creating a podcast kind of a
Right.
thing, and go and trying to distribute it to individuals so that they can learn from this collective intelligence and do something of it.
Yeah, quite relative. Nice.
So the only thing is that we are building a tech platform on this information so that people can access it. Whereas you are not building a tech
Mhm.
platform, you are what you can say, you are aggregating it through a
True.
podcast channel kind of a thing.
True, true. That's pretty good start for you. And as your business is serving both, as you mentioned, legal compliance community and also other businesses involved in the contracts, how did you get narrowed down to the specifics of the problem statements? Did you start as a horizontal product, as a generic MLA product, then narrowed down to the specifics, or you took a problem statement, then figured out the product? Which way you opted?
No, so we took a problem statement kind of an approach. The reason for it
Mhm.
is that the reason for it is we realized that there is no point reinventing the wheel. So what do we mean by saying reinventing the wheel? And there is no point hiding the fact is that the big companies of the world like Google or a Facebook or an IBM, they are the open source ecosystem. They are already building lots of domain independent or data independent horizontal platforms or horizontal algorithms, and they are doing a
Mhm.
quite a what is it, a brilliant job. There was no point we also doing the same thing. The kind of talent that it requires, we don't have. The kind of capital that it requires, we don't have. It doesn't make any sense. And somewhere down the line, our belief was that we want to take our product to the market, to the end user. So we can take our product to the end user only when we are solving a business use case rather than building a horizontal domain independent platform. So we were very sorted that A, we can't compete in that game. B, neither we want to do it. So we went a use case statement kind of a way where we thought that the algorithms or the ecosystem which is already maturing at a certain rate, we can exploit it and take our product to the end user. So that's what the strategy was.
That's nice. Curious to know about the manual work involved behind any automation products that are coming now. I just wanted to compare with the cloud relative products. For example, there is an AWS transcribe, right, where we can feed the MP3 audio file and get the text as an output. I was trying with that, but with that output, almost every alternative line I had to edit and correct the mistakes, which is output from the recent product, right? So in a way that automation actually creates a lot of manual efforts also behind the scene. So what is your experiences with that and any stats to share?
Completely agree. So there is a huge amount of data work that is going inside building these kind of NLP or an AI product that we call now. And to make it very generic, to make it very in a very generic way, what do I wish to say here is that what you're trying to say is you're trying to build intelligence into a system, and the intelligence we
Mhm.
all understand is a function of data. So the fact is that till the time you don't feed huge amount of data to anybody, you can't expect intelligence out of it. So in pretty simple term, whenever we see as a human beings, we are why we are taken into through an academic career or why we are told to exposed to different kind of data, because that makes our intelligence. Even in a natural world, there is a huge amount of what you can say data labeling or data annotation or whatever data exposure that has to be done to a human being also to develop intelligence. So, for example, if you don't
Hmm.
know anything about space exploration, you won't have any intelligence about space exploration. But the moment I start exposing you to space exploration and I showing you data related to space exploration, soon enough you will start developing your intelligence. Now, whether how much intelligent you will become, that becomes a biological question also, because and we there is no I don't have enough knowledge about it, and there is no point going there. But what a point I wish to make is any system, whether it's a human being or a machine, if we want it to develop intelligence, we will have to expose it to data. That's pretty simple. Now, coming back to our use case, yes, there is a huge amount of data labeling work that goes into system. So, for example, we when we made a semantic search over legal judgments, we had 1 lakh judgments of Indian courts where we trained
Hmm.
our data to build a system. When we had contracts, we built a clause classification engine over contracts, and we took over 20 clauses, 20 most important clauses like indemnity, exclusivity, non-compete, governing laws, all those, etc. And of each, we had around 10,000 variations of each of these clauses. So what I want to say is
Okay.
20 clauses and 10,000 variations of each of them, which comes somewhere around 2 lakh, 10,000 into 20, how much it will be? It will be 2 lakh. So we had 2
Hmm.
lakh variation of clauses where it trained our data. So that's what. I have worked for an enterprise where I tried to build an Alexa kind of system over an enterprise. So we took the data side of an data set of an enterprise, which had around 300 paragraphs and around 1,80,000 words. So 300,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
300,
huge.
yeah, 300 paragraph and 1,80,000 words. So, and on those paragraph and on those words, we trained our system. Then we built a question first. Since we wanted to build bots, we built our own questions. We built somewhere around,
Okay.
I think we built somewhere around 1,500 questions and 5 variations of each of these questions for these systems.
Okay.
All these works were done by human beings.
I guess the quite a huge amount of work behind the scene for data labeling itself, right? You had to deal with many third parties.
And that's where you build a domain intelligence. So without domain intelligence, building an ML system or an LP system is just hoax. Like nobody can do it.
True, true. Yeah, makes sense. Coming to the information about incubation platforms, as you are associated with multiple incubators like GeoGenX, Axilor, what are the factors and facilities Pensieve is getting from the incubators, and which one you have opted for, and how is it working?
No, no. So incubators has helped a lot. So to be frank enough, and I've been a part of a consumer company also and an enterprise company also. Consumer
Hmm.
company, you can be a little bit innovative around your marketing plans. But on an enterprise kind of a company, there is a very well defined enterprise sales structure, and I don't see a method. There can be innovation around any processes, but the fact is, somewhere down the
Hmm.
line, I believe enterprise sales needs to follow the processes that have been set up. When you become part of all these accelerators, they have previous founders who have gone through the arduous journey of doing enterprise sales for 10 years and 20 years. And when they meet the alums of the same accelerator and incubator, and then they tell their experiences of those 20 years and the mistakes that they have done, it's like in 15 days you know what you don't have to do and what you have to do. So to be part of
Okay.
accelerators and incubators is huge. Apart from the network that they open, like they open you to the VC ecosystem, they open you to the talent ecosystem, they open you to the businesses that their previous startups or their previous what you can say passed out startup from that accelerators may have done. So they open all those channels to you. They expose you to all those channels, and the greatest thing is that the founders who have been passed out of those accelerators, they share all those what you can say mistakes and learnings that they have done in their what you can say in their life, in their entrepreneurial life, that comes to you on day zero, and that's a huge amount of things. So, for example, and like this is a cliche again, another cliche to say, but entrepreneurs like entrepreneurship is something which is very difficult to be taught. The best
Hmm.
the best lessons you can learn from people who have already gone through that journey, burned their hand, learned
Hmm.
their things on the way, and have told and come back and share that process or the structure that they follow. And those coming through these accelerators is worth gold.
Okay, nice. Yeah. And how you have selected specific incubators, like there are Y Combinator, Google accelerators, various launch pads, and also the one which you opted for, GeoGenX and Axelor. So did you started horizontally and you narrowed down, or you opted specifically for these two accelerators?
Fair enough. So there are two things. When I was trying to apply for accelerators, there were two things that was in my mind. A, what kind of brand that they are, so that what you can say, and they can, I can fit into it, and I can learn from people out there. And is there a business energy into it? So Exelor and GeoGenX are the biggest brand in this country. So to be
Mm.
part of that bandwagon is itself an achievement. So there was no two thinking about it. Apart from it,
Okay.
and the other thing that comes into my mind is like I try to keep on being part of B2B accelerators also or incubators also. That may not be there on the what I can say. That may not be there on the profile. But then the other
Mhm.
kind of accelerators or incubators or the network that keep on exploring is which can have direct impact on the business network that I'm exploring. So for
Okay.
example, they have direct network to the enterprises, and they can help me land into the what you can say rooms of the CEOs of these big enterprises who may be one of the buyer of my product. So that is the more
Okay.
active approach while trying out to reaching out to accelerators. Whereas Gendex and Axelor, they are the biggest brand in this country. Like you don't think about it. Like whether they would definitely they have made business networks also to me. It's not so that I have not got business connects through them, but the fact is that they are the biggest brand. Like you will find people who have made $1 billion companies in these accelerators and have been part of it. And you would always want to reach out to these people to understand that or hear that what kind of learnings they had in their journey.
Okay, nice. Both the mentorship and also the networking plays a big
Yeah.
role.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Very interesting. How did you start your sales and marketing for Pensieve, and how have you evolved in these days?
Fair enough. So, how did I start? So, to be frank enough, first of all, when I started out, it's less of a sales kind of a thing, but more of an what you can say evangelism kind of a thing. So, what do I mean by
Mhm.
evangelism is that initially I was just reaching out to lawyers and people from legal background to understand their input about the product. So that was a time when I was trying to reach out with them, when I was just trying to have the initial interaction with my client, with my customers, to understand that what are their expectations from a product, from a similar kind of a product. Is trying to crunch data in a legal or a regulation or compliance domain. So the process started more from evangelism, and then now that it is 3 4 years now, we are getting into more and more structure kind of a thing, where we have sorted capabilities at one side, sorted what you can say products at one side, and we are trying to combine both of them to sell it to the clients. The sales at this moment of a time go through less of a subscription kind of a sell and more of a project kind of a sell. But the idea is that how we can move more towards licensing and subscription to a project kind of structure. I hope this is the question that you were asking, or was there something?
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you. Okay, now you have a very good network and tie-ups within the startup community.
Yeah.
And how was your early days? What challenges did you face, and how did you solve them to prove that you are part of a bigger community and your product actually makes sense to the target audience?
Fair enough. So I will want to give a huge amount of credit to the CEO or the founder in my previous company, Zimber. And I see this, and this may sound a little bit of Bollywood, but he had this theory that everybody that he meets should connect him to two more people at least. So, and he was my co-founder.
Nice.
So, and I'm being very open about it that the tenacity that he has as an individual to create networks, maybe I don't have that same kind of tenacity. And obviously, people have different kind of capability. I am much better than him in product solving and problem solving. So yeah, but the network building kind of a thing, he had this, and I saw him with the passion that he did. Like everybody that he met, he ensured that the person gets him connected to at least two more people. So he has a huge amount of
Nice.
passion, and this is I'm telling you. And he has his theory also. So I don't want to what do you can say classify into any kind of a bucket. But he didn't come from an what you can say the elite, the tech schools of the India or the B school of the India. He comes
Mhm.
and I'm not trying to say anybody is less talented or more talented kind of a thing, but his theory was that I don't come from an elite tech school or a B school in this country, so I don't have the same kind of a network easily available to me.
Okay.
So I would
Mhm.
be more, what you can say, I would be more desperate to build this network. I will have more tenacity to keep on doing it. And so with the passion that he kept on ensuring that everybody that he met, they connected him at least to two more people, and it happened in front of my eyes. And obviously,
Okay.
being very shameless, I would say that I just rode on his hard work. So because I was the co-founder of the company, so and everybody he used to meet, like 80% of the people, 100% of the person that he met started knowing me also, because I was part of
Okay.
all the mail conversation at least, and 80% of the person
Mhm.
that he met, I also met in person. So I would say
Okay.
that I was blessed in that sense that he was there, because I didn't have the same kind of, to be frank enough, I didn't have the same kind of what you can say skill or tenacity on the network building side, and I rode on his hard work in the early days, and I learned from him also. Now I have become that kind of a person.
Mhm.
But yeah, my advice
Oh,
would
nice.
be to anybody who wants to build network, anything that you want to do, it becomes very obvious that you should have the passion to do it. But yes, you can have these kind of small rules where you say that okay, everybody I meet, they should at least connect me to two more person, because that's where the whole geometric progression kind of a thing comes into picture, and we all know the magic of GP. Like how can the whole GP thing scale up?
Good. Yeah, you are forming a bigger tree, right? A huge pyramid. Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Right. So you are still running these two entities separately, like Zimber and Pensieve, or you manage?
I got acquired way back in 2007, late 2016, early 2017.
Okay, okay. Please share about your core founding team. What are the challenges and conflicts you faced, and how did you come on a common ground before kickstarting your business with your co-founders?
Fair. So my first co-founder, Prahlad, he was my engineering college roommate in first year. So and then he went on to study in IIT Madras. And so, but we had a personal connect. We had a connect over internet. All these years, he was following me in Zimbar also, and I used to have what you can say a chat with him every 6 months or a year about the things that I'm doing and things that he's doing. So when I started Pensieve, I had this in my head that AI, ML, NLP, the space which is on the what do you say fulcrum of research and engineering. So engineering and execution is something which I'm good upon. But I was looking for somebody who comes from a research bent up background to help keep on ensuring that there is an innovation on the model side or on the algorithm side. So since he was doing his PhD from New York, so I had in my head that okay, he's the guy who may be the best fit for
Mhm.
me. Whereas I can take care of engineering or the execution side, where I'm good at. He can take care of the research, algorithm, or the model side, where there is more innovation and where there is more value creation from a company point of view. So
Mhm.
that was in my head. That's why I reached out to him. Thankfully enough, in his PhD also, he was looking into data science. Like he was not doing it for text analytics and linguistic, but he was into ML NLP for the domain where he was doing his PhD, where the subject that he was doing his PhD, and he wanted to explore this area. And he said that okay, this sounds very interesting. Let's try to do it. This is a good fit for both of us. Like theoretically speaking, the expectation that you have from me sounds very aligned to my aspiration, whereas the things that you are trying to say that you will deliver is something which I don't have, neither I want to acquire. So even today, he doesn't want to get into business. He's not bothered about money too much, which is a sad thing also. But anyway,
Okay.
he doesn't want to get into business. He doesn't want to get into execution. But he is one of those persons who takes care of the newer developments on the algorithm side, the newer researches that's happening. So yeah, that's what. So the point that I wish to make here is if we're looking for a co-founding team, a complementary skill set is something which could be one of the criteria. B, if everybody is associated, is passionate about the business the way you are, then that can also be criteria.
Yeah, I guess you figured out a way to distinguish the roles and responsibilities, right? You take care of the business, and he takes care of the algorithm and building.
Yeah.
Nice. Can you please talk about your first moment of relief in Pensive? Was it for any customer deal, or was it an MVP?
So that's an interesting question. If you are asking from an entrepreneur point of view, I somehow believe that as an entrepreneur you will never be relieved because in the journey, like it's a long journey. Like most of the entrepreneurs, they have high aspirations, and that's why they become an entrepreneur. And in the initial years, it's just those small goals that you have kept on achieving. So to be truthful enough, I am not feel relieved. But yeah, I can't reach to. I do understand in my head that if I have my goal to reach to milestone 100, There is no way going from 0 to 100. I will reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I need to be happy about reaching 1, 2, 3, 4, and humble and respectful about reaching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 also. So obviously that's something which what I can say, that's something which becomes important in the entrepreneurial journey, because you have big dreams. That's why you do entrepreneurship. So I won't use the term relief, but yeah, what were the key moments, to be frank enough? Obviously, getting Prahlad on board, like getting agreeing Prahlad agreeing to be part of the company, was obviously one of those moments where you felt happy. Okay, it's not you only who is thinking that this is something which can be converted into a company and create value, but there's another guy also. Whether it's foolish is something that you go and get to know 3-4 years down the line. But obviously, when you get your co-founder on board, you feel happy about what you can say, getting things done. So that was the first relief moment. Second relief moment was when, and obviously it can be, and those relief moment can be a trap also, because at the end of the day, you need to complete the structure, complete the process. The second relief moment was initially when we were going out to, when we were reaching out to the lawyers and trying to show our product, and when they were getting positive feedback, obviously that was the relief movement. Third was when there was one small project from one of the client, and I do remember it was small money, not a very big amount of money, 3,50,000 rupees, and which came in three phases: 1.25, 1.25, and 1 lakh. So I believe in 2018 March, April, a 1.25L check came, and that was
Okay.
obviously one of those relief moments. Like you felt happy that okay, you spent all these times to build something, and people is paying money to you. That completes the process in a certain extent. Raising funds was a relief moment, but yeah, friends and family were able to invest money into the company, so that was one of the relief moment. Then in 2018 we have done 2020 we have done it, like we will be clocking a revenue of somewhere around 2 to 2.5 CR this year, this financial year, and we have delivered very big projects for enterprises in this year. So this year has been multiple reliefs, but yeah, those reliefs, they were not very big, but like those were the initial reliefs, but you become happy about it. This is a very big relief where you are getting projects also, where you are getting money also, but it is more structured. So you don't feel that moment. You go through the process, so
True.
you see it. This happens gradually. So
Yeah.
these are more of an satisfaction moments which have kept on happening on a day by day basis. But yeah, these were the relief moments. Apart from it, the other relief moment, obviously, one of the from my perspective, uh, the fact is that you decide that okay, this is what you want to do, and you go out on the market, and when people give you positive response in terms of buying the product, in terms of paying money, I definitely feel relieved about it. I feel happy about it. I feel that okay, there was a plan in my head which is seeing the light of the day and being accepted and being rewarded or being paid with monetary benefits. It just completes the whole process. So that makes sense.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Can you talk about how did you manage funding in the initial days? You mentioned that you bootstrapped. Any investors experience as well, or how was those initial days of management?
Fair enough. So initially, I had some amount of money, which I invested into the company. Then we were able to raise friends and family round also pretty soon in the company in 1 year of our existence. So a friend and family round, and a friend and family round, they were like they have seen the kind of what you can say work that we have done in the past. Okay, so how would I say is that fact is that after 4 years of existence, there is something that I have learned is that one should never take easy money. That's a mistake. That's an entrepreneurial trap that you can get into. Friends and family around you would be, if you would be a decent kind of a person and a hardworking kind of a person with a genuine intent, there is a very high probability that you will be able to raise a friends and family around. But how you ensure that even if, and a friends and family round is an easy money round, because if somebody in a friends and family is willing to pay money to you, they won't be doing huge amount of due diligence. But the fact is that in your head, you need to understand that the moment you have easy money, how do you make it more and more difficult for yourself? Because the fact is that if you take money from somebody else and you don't return it back, then the chances of you getting money again is very difficult. At least you won't get it from those people, and you won't also feel confident in yourself to get it from somebody else. B, you are investing your time into it, And if you are taking money from somebody and not returning back, your time has gone and your credibility is also gone. So the point here is that without a very concrete path and visibility to make money out of money, one should never raise money. And
Hmm.
never is an exaggeration.
Yeah.
One should not try to raise money. So my point here is that till the time there is a very definite visibility that it will convert into business, we should not try to raise capital. And that's what I have consistently learned, because as an entrepreneur, most of us are very confident that we will make business out of it, but that doesn't happen in real life. So, if I would say what has been my consistent learning is that how do I ensure that there are more and more validations, and those validations goes beyond my gut or instinct level to have real chances that once the capital is invested into this idea, it will convert into a good business kind of a thing.
Okay, nice. So far, have you raised any capital outside of bootstrapping?
So, in Pensieve, I have raised somewhere around one CR, so around 120K. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And how was that journey and experience when you approached the investors?
So as I already said, this was a friends and family round. So
Hmm.
I would say that here the journey was easier because I had a previous experience of raising capital in a startup, and I knew that what kind of matrices or what kind of objectives or what kind of a goal that I need to show
Okay.
it and that I know to show it to people so that they are interested in investing money into the company. But if I say from a Zimmer experience kind of a thing, so the bottom line is that this is something for somebody who wants to raise money from an investor or a VC. The most important criteria would be, apart from everything else, the most what is a rational or the obvious criteria for raising funds will be that what kind of market opportunity you are trying to go upon. Because
Hmm.
if I'm an investor or if I'm an investor, the multiple of returns of my money. I'm not trying to say it from a greed point of view, but I'm trying to say from a logical point of view. So if I want to invest, for example, if I want to invest into something which has huge potential to return, and I'm not trying to
Hmm.
say that everybody is greedy and here just for money, but if I want to invest, I will invest where there is a huge potential to invest, and there is a huge potential to return are only in bigger market opportunities. So if you are trying to
Okay.
raise money, one thing that you need to do for sure is try to go for a bigger market. So I got a framework also, and I keep on telling it to people that.
Okay.
So what I say is two by two: big market, small market, difficult problem, easy problem. So best case to raise money from investor and VC will be easy problem to solve, but big market.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Any interesting incidents you remember from VCs where you had to convince a lot, or any tricky questions you had to handle? Something
Any
in your mind?
question that I had to handle. Uh, um, No, I won't say that there was a tricky question that I had to handle, because at the end of the day, most of the VCs are very logical. When I say logical is that they would want to know about the market opportunity. They would want to know. So, what are the things that they would want to know? They would want to know about the market opportunity. Everybody would want to know, and you should have some kind of an either from a primary research or a secondary research. You need to have data around it. They would want to know your go-to-market strategies. Like, okay, fair enough, it's a billion-dollar industry. We do understand, but how
Mhm.
are you going to go ahead it, and what kind of capability you have to execute it. So that would be something interesting that they would definitely would want to know. Apart,
So you would go with all capex and opex data
yeah,
properly gathered.
other things.
Okay.
Apart from it, what will be the interesting thing would be, okay, okay. So since we are talking about all those things, I would tell that during Zimmer days when we were trying to pitch it to a VC, and Zimmer was building electrician, plumbers, carpenters at home. So one of the VCs
Hmm.
asked me that how many electricians are there in Bombay, and we didn't have an answer for the same. And he
You have it now. I mean, that's a very tricky question,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and
Simple question, but
yeah, and maybe he didn't want to invest into the company, but from there the whole what you can say meeting kept on going downhill only. But the fact was,
okay.
that was like, I don't know whether we should have done some kind of triangulation and given him an answer. But yeah, that's one of the what you could say early. He just asked randomly that how many electricians are there there in Bombay, and he was like, if you don't know, how do you make this company? And we were like, that doesn't sound logical. We don't need to know how many electricians. there in Bombay. So
Hmm.
that was an interesting thing. Apart from it, yeah, obviously there was another interesting incident where there was somebody who runs a very big facility management company in this country, a very big. He has been entrepreneur of
Mhm.
the year for at least 2 year or 3 year. I don't know. He was there
Okay.
to acquire our company. He was like straightforward, and the interesting thing was that it whole started by him pitching us to acquire our company. But somewhere down the line, and I won't take the credit for that. My co-founder Anubhav, he just turned it 180-degree, and after a 1 year conversation, we were about to acquire his company. Like that's how it went
Oh,
on. Like we were building a
okay.
premium company. So he was trying to build a facility. He was trying to build. He has a facility management company, and he was trying to build a company into what you can say, home services, consumer domain company.
Mhm.
So what we then how it all turned around was he started proposing that how come we build a premium home service company and your company becomes more of a massy company and we be on top.
Mhm.
So that was an interesting conversation that we had.
Okay.
But the thing is that yes, interesting conversation are something which will happen, but
Mhm.
most of the times it's data which like obviously you need to be smart, you need to be witty, and all those things which are more of an social thing, which is more of an individual thing. But all those things, at least what I would want to say, is work only if you are good at your data. So if somebody is trying to think that okay, I will be smart and I will be witty and I will walk my way through, maybe I don't know, maybe he will, maybe he not. But I will be sure that 99% of the cases, people who go there back with data only succeed. So it's
Okay.
better to
Okay.
get your data ready rather than trying to be smart.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. And can you, on the same line, can you share some of your customer success stories which you feel proud of for being part of their journey because of your product?
In the current project only, we have made an Alexa kind of a system. So the fact is that, and we are in touch with somebody who is handling the technical operations of AI/ML kind of a deployment of AI/ML kind of solution to the enterprise. But the interesting thing is, since the Alexa kind of system, they got somebody who is very lower in the rank working in that enterprise to speak to the system, and the system give answers. So the interesting thing is that the elation that these people they get when they ask the question and get the answer is very rewarding. You understand? Like they find it a magic kind of a thing.
Okay. Okay.
So they find it a magic kind of a thing कि हम बोलेंगे और answer आ जाएगा. So when in front of you, you see these people asking question in the system, and the confidence or the magic that you see in their eyes when the system gives answer is rewarding.
Okay, okay, nice. Being a AI ML company, predominantly your products also, where do you see your major time go spending? Is it in the operation or kind of a data processing area, or where do you spend most of your time
Fair
when it comes to your product?
when as a team, when I say most of the time is invested on the data engineering side. So what do I mean to say is data engineering side is on the model algorithm side, as I already said, there are open source ecosystem.
Mhm.
There is a work associated around it because you keep on doing experiments to understand that what algorithm and what model will fit into your data. But that's not time taking. Like once you know the structure, once you know the process and the kind of GPUs that are available because of the clouds like AWS and GCP, it's not time taking. It requires a certain amount of IQ. It requires a certain amount of what you can say, certain amount of research knowledge to know. But once you
Mhm.
have it, it's not time taking. But the data engineering work, where you need to dumb down the data, understand how do you break it to for your models to consume, how do you build domain expertise, how do you do data labeling, how do you make certain qualifiers to understand the data, is a huge amount of work in
Mhm.
building these kinds of products. So that's where the time spent. B, obviously the other part of time spent is, since it's more of a platform kind of a capability kind of a thing, and the product is a function of being data exposed to. So when you go into your sales structure, how do you make realize your enterprise that the capability that you have may have been figured out on a different kind of a data set, but will be able to give a quite satisfactory result in your data also. So as I said. So from a product kind of view, the data engineering part is where the huge amount of time is invested. Whereas on the sales kind of a view, how do you make your client understand that, how do you create a sales structure kind of a thing, where you say that this will start working on your data also, is a time taking job. Because time
Okay,
is-
yeah, and it differs, right? When you test it and when you train it and
Yeah.
when you actually test it in the field, it's different. Okay,
So yeah, from an
nice.
enterprise point of view, they need to take all those what you can say, all those approvals to share data with a very small startup.
Mhm.
So somebody in the enterprise should be willing to take that risk for you.
Okay, yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah. So, as your company is playing the role of digitization with AI products, which is much required for any clients to scale their business, right? What
Yeah.
is your plans in scaling your business? Any ideas or thought process in pipeline?
As I already said, we want to be the data intelligence company. So we are right now in legal space. We want in legal space, compliance space, and financial space, because finance is an industry is on the, again, on the fulcrum of legal regulation, compliance. So
Mhm.
all these becomes one of the subsets of financial industry. So these are the industries where we would want to deploy technology solution and be the company providing technology solutions for all these companies. In pretty simple term, what do we want to do is, these are the industry that we take, and which we are taking right now is legal, regulation, compliance, and finance. We become the solution provider, or we become the change element to ensure that people are able to access data more efficiently and smoothly across these industries and make decisions which are more data driven.
Mhm. Nice. What's your vision on AI and IoT startups in India down the line 5 years, and what impacts do you foresee that a startup will play in the overall ecosystem?
The fact is that the AI that we are trying to see at this point of time is data intelligence,
Hmm.
and the fact is that it's not so that data was not being created earlier, but yeah, with the advent of computers, the rate at which data is being created is obviously higher at multiple times, and the data is being recorded also efficiently, which can be
Hmm.
retrieved at at ease, and can be shared also. So all these things will definitely keep on helping in building AI products much faster.
Hmm.
So there will be a huge amount of growth in AI products, whether it's healthcare or finance or regulation, compliance, legal, or logistics or whatever. So all across all domain, whether we say it an AI or whether we say it data analytics, whatever we want to say, but there would be an advent of these kind of products, and they will become more and more what do you say, ingrained into the ecosystem,
Hmm.
because they will keep on getting more and more data, and
True.
people will figure out to build more and more intelligent system on top of it. IoT also at the end of the day is marriage of data and hardware systems.
True.
So, and there is an internet is becoming cheaper and easier available as we grow across. So obviously IoT would also be a huge impact. I see that. So the fact is that uh, IoT has got a huge amount of application on the consumer side also, where there is a huge amount of companies which are doing good work, and there is an application on the price side also, in the big companies. So I would see that the and automation and robotics were always part of enterprise, like assembly line
Hmm.
and everything were always happening. So I see that IoT I see will move much faster in enterprise. Even
Okay.
AI will move much faster in enterprise, because on a personal life, and we'll keep on doing. In personal life, we can't keep on making just data driven decisions. We will have to, what you can say, inculcate some amount of emotions also into it. So that would be always a criteria. But on the
Hmm.
enterprise side and AI, whether it's AI or an IoT, it's just an what do you can say, just an upgradation, and
Hmm.
which will happen at a much faster pace, because every year the multiple of data that is being produced, being recorded, being retrieved, and being available for people to build systems on top of it are much higher. So that would something which will keep on happening at a much faster rate.
Wonderful. And moving on to the next segment of this episode, rapid fire questions. I've
Okay.
listed few. Bring it down. What's your favorite sports or game you play?
Like right now, I play badminton, so I like playing badminton.
Okay, okay. What does creativity mean to you in one sentence?
What does creativity means to me at one sentence? Uh, obviously it's just like building something on top of data.
Okay, okay. Being a data-driven company, nice. What's the best thing that happened to you this month?
We delivered a project to one of the client.
Nice. Which book or an article you read recently and you liked it?
Which book or an article I read recently and I like. So I'm reading this book. What is the name of the book? Range: Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World.
Okay, okay, nice.
That's talking about how do people, what is the difference between tactics and strategy.
Hmm.
How do people who are more of a generalist have got capabilities to do multiple things and have got a mental intellect to handle situations. So all those things are there. This is a book that I'm reading right now and I'm liking it a lot.
Okay, nice. What's your favorite and tough subject in school for you?
So my favorite subject has been maths all my life.
Okay,
So all my life, maths has been very favorite subject. The tough subject in my school was I failed in Sanskrit, so Sanskrit.
okay, okay. What time do you sleep and wake up in the morning? And how does your first few hours of morning look like?
Fair enough. So I sleep around 12:30. I wake up around 6:37 every day. I make tea for myself. I will walk a little bit and spend my first 2 hours on laptop, just what you can say, trying to understand that how my day and how my week is, and is
Mhm.
everything going by the things that I have planned.
Okay, nice. You might be mentoring many people from your experience, and in the same way, you should also have many mentors who are mentoring you. How do you make sure that your mentors are available to you when you need them?
So one of the things is that something that I think I have developed also with the passage of time is clarity in communication.
Hmm.
So if you be very clear about what do you want from people, uh, I see that more often than not there is a positive response coming out from it. So
Hmm.
whenever I find that when do I find to get positive response from people is when I'm not sorted what I'm looking out for.
Hmm.
So one of the things that it takes little time to develop, but yeah, if you would have clarity of communication, this is what you're looking for. More often than not, you will have your mentors or mentee or your employer or your co-founder being responding to you in a positive way.
Okay, wonderful. And for people who don't know about you and your company, where should they look for?
For me, I would be available in LinkedIn, Gaurav Shrivastava. You can always search. And for my company, my website is www.pensieve.co.in.
Okay, wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed this last 1 hour talking to you and getting all the insights from you, Gaurav. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashok. It was nice chatting with you.
Okay, we are at the end of episode number 25. Thank you very much, Gaurav, for coming on and sharing your experiences. And to our listeners, you can find out the episode summary in the description. Until we catch up soon with more exciting stories, stay tuned, be motivated. Thank you.